ounce in. We're set. Good. No surprises. Trust me. It's clean. All right? Let's do it. Hello, everyone. Tonight, we're stepping into Las Vegas in the 1960s and 1980s. And we're going to bring it back to life just for you. If you enjoyed this journey, like the video, subscribe to Step Into History, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next journey.
The most powerful crime bosses in American history didn't lose Las Vegas in a shootout. They lost it in a boardroom somewhere between the late 1960s and the early 1980s, during one of the most dramatic power shifts in American business history.
Our market share is strong.
I used AI to rebuild this era year by year. The deals, the construction, the disasters, and the moment a gangster's playground became a corporate empire.
Don't go anywhere, because the way they lost it is even wilder than the way they built it.
The first major crack came in November 1966, when Howard Hughes, eccentric billionaire, aviation tycoon, and professional recluse, arrived in Las Vegas by private train and checked into the desert in Penthouse. When management asked him to vacate his suite to make room for New Year's high rollers, Hughes did the only logical thing. He bought the entire hotel for $13.2 million. He completed the purchase in March 1967 and never moved out. That was just the start. By the end of 1967, Hughes had acquired the Sands, the Castaways, and the Frontier. In 1968, he added the Silver Slipper and the Landmark. One man, operating from a sealed penthouse he rarely left, now controlled roughly 20% of all casino hotel rooms on the Strip.
His presence sent a message the mob bosses couldn't ignore.
Las Vegas was open for legitimate money, and legitimate money had arrived. Nevada's lawmakers moved to accelerate the change. In 1967, they passed initial legislation allowing corporations to hold gaming licenses, and refined this into the full Corporate Gaming Act in 1969, removing the requirement for individual background checks on every corporate stockholder. Before this, a single pension fund or public company couldn't touch a Las Vegas casino without every shareholder going under scrutiny. After 1969, the floodgates were open. The Strip itself was also physically changing during these years. Not every new building was a palace. The Marina Hotel opened on May 1, 1975. A modest 14-story, 714-room tower on the east side of the Strip, north of Tropicana Avenue intersection. Designed to serve middle-class travelers rather than high rollers. It wasn't glamorous, but it was exactly what the new Las Vegas needed. Proof that the Strip could absorb a different kind of guest entirely. The Marina would eventually play an unexpected role in Strip history, but that comes later. In 1979, a North Dakota contractor named Ralph Engelstad opened the Imperial Palace on the site of the old Flamingo Capri Motel. With its blue pagoda rooftops, carved dragons, and tile imported from Japan, the Imperial Palace was the Strip's first Asian-themed resort, and a deliberate mid-market bet at a time when the Strip's existing properties were either aging mob-built casinos or gleaming corporate towers. It worked. Between 1981 and 1987, Engelstad added 3 hotel towers in rapid succession, pushing the room count from a few hundred to 2,637, quietly making it one of the largest hotels in the world. The message to the industry was clear. You didn't need mob money or a billion-dollar budget to win on the Strip. You needed a lane nobody else was occupying. California-based aviation billionaire 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐸𝐬𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐸𝐬𝐲𝐲 had already shown what the top of the market could look like. After opening the International Hotel in 1969, then the world's largest, with 1,512 rooms, he sold it and the Flamingo to Hilton Hotels in 1970 and 1971. This was the first time a major American hotel chain had ever purchased Las Vegas casinos. Within a few years, Hilton was earning more than half its total corporate profits from its Las Vegas properties. Sheraton, Holiday Inn, and other national brands followed, and suddenly the Strip was full of logos that families associated with clean, reliable travel. Then, in December 1973, 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐸𝐬𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐸𝐬𝐲𝐲 outdid himself by opening the MGM Grand, 2,100 rooms, the largest hotel on Earth at the time, built at a cost of $16 million and themed after the glamour of Hollywood's golden age. Where the mob had built with cash in suitcases, 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐸𝐬𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐸𝐬𝐲𝐲 had built with institutional investors and corporate balance sheets. The scale was staggering. The financing was transparent, and the message was impossible to misread. But the Strip's rapid vertical growth had outpaced one critical thing: fire safety. On the morning of November 21, 1980, a faulty electrical wire inside a deli restaurant on the casino floor of the MGM Grand ignited. The fire reached flashover in minutes and tore across the casino. Smoke poured into the elevator shafts and ventilation system, spreading silently upward through all 26 stories of the hotel tower above.
We got most people out.
By the time the blaze was contained, 85 people were dead, most from smoke inhalation in their rooms with no warning, no sprinklers, no alarm. Helicopters airlifted roughly 250 survivors trapped on rooftops. It was the deadliest disaster in Nevada history and the third deadliest hotel fire in modern American history. The investigation revealed the structural reason. Fire safety codes had been upgraded after the MGM Grand was built in 1973, but the law was not retroactive. The hotel had sprinklers only in its theater, kitchen, and lobby, not the casino floor, not the guest rooms. The building was entirely legal and completely deadly. 3 months later, a second fire at the Las Vegas Hilton killed 8 more people. Nevada's legislature responded in 1981 with sweeping new legislation. Every public building in the state was required to have full sprinkler systems, smoke detectors in every room, and exit maps in every hallway. Nevada became a national leader in fire safety regulation almost overnight, and the federal government followed with similar standards across the country. The MGM Grand was rebuilt and reopened 8 months after the fire, but the city's image had taken a hit that took years to recover. Las Vegas visitation fell sharply in 1981 and 1982. Then it climbed again slowly, and by 1985, the Strip had regained its footing. The retrofitting of every hotel on the boulevard, expensive and legally mandated, had the unintended effect of accelerating the corporate takeover further. Small, undercapitalized operators who couldn't afford full compliance sold out or closed. The casinos that survived were better financed, better managed, and more professionally operated than anything the mob era had produced. Meanwhile, the mob's last hold on the Strip was being dismantled, case by case. In 1978, the FBI began Operation Strawman, embedding surveillance into mob-connected restaurants in Kansas City, and eventually unraveling the skim operations that had been funneling untaxed casino profits to bosses in Chicago, Kansas City, Cleveland, and Milwaukee for decades.
No surprises. Trust me.
The investigation focused on the Stardust and Fremont casinos, where millions were being pulled off gaming revenues before they reached the books. Federal RICO indictments followed in 1983, taking down mob bosses from multiple cities in a single prosecution sweep. High-profile figures like Frank "Lefty" Rosenthal, who had run the Stardust for the Chicago outfit through a series of sham job titles for years, were stripped of licenses and permanently barred from the industry. By 1984, the Stardust itself had been purchased by the Boyd family's legitimate gaming corporation. In 1986, 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐸𝐬𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐸𝐬𝐲𝐲 sold the original MGM Grand to Ball Manufacturing, the Chicago-based gaming equipment maker, which renamed it Ballas. That transaction quietly completed a circle. The building where 87 people had died 6 years earlier was now owned by a publicly traded corporation with institutional shareholders, answering to quarterly reports and regulatory boards rather than mob bosses. The fedoras were off, the briefcases were out, the cleanup was complete. Which brings us to Steve Wynn. Wynn had acquired a controlling interest in the Golden Nugget downtown in 1971, and by 1973 had become its majority shareholder and the youngest casino owner in Las Vegas. He revamped it aggressively, bringing in top performers, adding hotel towers, and turning a Fremont Street gambling hall into a legitimate luxury destination. His approach was the template for the new era. Flashy, ambitious, funded by bank loans and institutional investors, and run with a corporate executive's discipline. By the early 1980s, the Golden Nugget downtown was one of the most profitable casinos in the city. But Wynn was thinking bigger, and the land on the Strip was already there waiting for him. The Marina Hotel, that modest 14-story tower that had opened quietly in 1975, sat on a prime parcel north of Tropicana Avenue intersection. In 1989, 𝐒𝐭𝐸𝐬𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐸𝐬𝐲𝐲 bought it for $80 million, along with the adjacent Tropicana Country Club. He had plans for a new kind of casino on that site. So did Wynn on a different parcel further north. On November 22, 1989, Steve Wynn opened the Mirage. It cost $630 million, roughly 6 times what the original MGM Grand had cost 16 years earlier. The financing came primarily through junk bonds arranged by Michael Millen, a mechanism that Wall Street considered reckless and that analysts predicted would require the Mirage to generate an unheard-of $1 million per day just to service the debt. It did so with ease. The Mirage had 3,044 rooms, a 100-foot erupting volcano on the Strip that went off every 15 minutes after dark, a white tiger habitat, a dolphin pool, an indoor tropical forest, and room appointments that made every previous Las Vegas resort look like a roadside motel by comparison. There had been no major new casino built from the ground up on the Strip since the original MGM Grand in 1973. A 16-year gap. The Mirage ended that silence with a building that wasn't just bigger or more expensive than anything before it. It was different in kind. For Bugsy Siegel, the Flamingo had been about proving that organized crime could build luxury. For 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐸𝐬𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐸𝐬𝐲𝐲 and the International and the MGM had been about proving that corporations could outscale the mob. The Mirage was about something else entirely, proving that a single resort could be a complete destination, a world unto itself, where gambling was only one of many reasons to come. And the spectacle began the moment you saw the volcano from the road. Las Vegas visitation jumped 16% in 1990, one of the largest single-year increases in the city's history. The Mirage had not just redefined a casino, It had redefined what a city block of entertainment could be. The mega resort era had begun, and the Strip would spend the entire following decade racing to answer the question it had posed. How immersive, how enormous, and how expensive could a single resort become? The Strip didn't just change hands in these 2 decades, it changed species. What the mob built with concrete, cash, and muscle, the corporations dismantled with lawyers, auditors, and quarterly reports. The fedoras came off, the briefcases came out, and somewhere in that transition, Las Vegas pulled off its greatest trick yet. It buried the men who built it, erased their fingerprints from the neon signs, and convinced the whole world it had always been a family destination. The gangsters lit the match. The suits collected the insurance. And the Strip just kept on burning. Brighter, cleaner, and more ruthless than any mobster ever dreamed. Thank you for watching Step into History. For a brief moment, you stepped into a world that once existed. A city that shaped history, and lives that felt just as real as ours today. These stories are more than the past. They are echoes of how we lived, built, and understood the world. If you want to continue exploring lost civilizations, subscribe and join the journey. Where should we travel next?